I, in fact, wanted the third movie not to be called The Godfather Part 3. I wanted it to be called The Death of Michael Corleone because it was a very different kind of story. For one thing, it was the resolution of the story.
Now, on Godfather 3, I worked more closely with Francis than on the other two scripts. We spent a couple of weeks in the Reno gambling hotel working on it, and then I went to Rome for a week, and then I met him in New York to work on it. I think that's a great collaboration.
The thing that's different about Godfather 3 and Godfather 2 is that Michael is different. I mean, he's a guy who's clearly getting ready for death, and he's very worried that it's like King Lear, he hasn't set things right. A lot of the scripts for the Godfather sequel that other people wrote were about drug deals and, big drug cartels. And Mario and I went a more unusual way, making it be more a story of redemption and kind of going back to the Sicilian roots.
Here we all had a wonderful opportunity to come together again, God knows 20 years later, to do Godfather 3, and we came together with a great affection at this point and knowledge of each other.
Everyone look toward me, nice.
But the issue was, what are you now going to say about this family?
I have many things to resolve. I have you, I have the other one, I have the other one, and it all has to be like one great emotional thing.
Yeah, but it's like, how does it end? How does it end?
I always thought one of the interesting things about this was that my family were all impacted by the film and all participated in the film. My sister played Connie.
If anything happens to Michael, I want you to strike back.
My daughter played the young daughter of Michael.
Who's your father?
I'll give you a hint. He's Italian.
My father went from having written the so-called background music of The Godfather, not the score, but all those tarantellas, and later actually writing the score for the third one, so that it really was a story of a family over many years, made by a family.
I command this family, right or wrong.
In Part 3, I had to look older than I was, and I had a great makeup person who made me look like I really looked 62, and I gained weight for the part. And after the picture, people thought I was 62 or something. Said, look what happened to Al after all the years. That's the pros and cons of good makeup.
Francis and I decided that, Connie should go in another direction, and that it would be good for Al's world as well to have somebody who was his contemporary and who had the sense of that past, but somewhat distorted. I took as my model the lady in Sunset Boulevard who was out of time and out of space and filled with illusion. So here, if her brother was now wanting to get out of it, this woman wouldn't want to get out of it. You mean? After all of that killing and death and tragedy, you want to go straight? What about me?
He did the right thing. He got Zaza's name. Michael.
Yes.
Now they'll fear you.
Maybe they should fear you.
I wanted Michael to now be a man who was older and was more concerned with redemption, because I think that that's what he would be.
All my life I wanted out. I wanted the family out.
The character's appeal was that he was an idealist and believed in what he did and followed it through, and that he didn't think of himself as a bad man.
I spent my life protecting my son. I spent my life protecting my family.
He thought of himself as a rational man in that kind of world, and one who did these things because it was necessary to do to keep up. When it got as far as killing his own brother, it went into the kind of Greek tragedy aspect.
I ordered the death of my brother.
This Michael Corleone had realized that he had paid very dearly for being that cold-blooded murderer, and was a man now who wanted to make his peace.
I killed my mother's son.
I killed my father's son.
But found that he was unable to get out.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
It's a style of the Godfather movies that a ritual is going on, and interwoven with the ritual are or the resolution, which are usually murders. And so for Godfather 3, I thought it was very appropriate that the opera Cavalleria Rusticana be the ritual. We took all those characters to the opera house in Palermo, and that's where the final act of the Corleone family was played.
The first draft of the script that I had read had Michael going to church with Kay, having gotten back together. And coming out of the church, he's assassinated in daylight. And he rolls down the stairs. And she comes to the bottom, Kay, and looks down at him and says, "Michael, are you dying?" And he says, "No." And he dies.
I just felt that that was too easy and too kind to him, that the whole thing just ended up with him being the one who was shot. And I wanted something more ironic and more devastating to him.
Dad?
Pacino, when his daughter gets killed, that cry that he lets out, to me that is one of the greatest pieces of movie acting I have ever seen. One of the most affecting.
The Godfather movies were, in a way, a metaphor for the American way. So, and it did appeal to a universal audience. You know, I mean, everybody was identifying with this family.
Well, it's extraordinary. It is 25 years later, and they are evergreen and vital. And to me, that is always the sign of something which is really a work of art, because works of art, paintings, anything, they never become obsolete. They're extraordinary.
I think you try to bring work to life, and you hope that it illuminates people's lives, their understanding, and that they enjoy it, and that's the most you can say about it.
And now we're pleased to bring you our feature presentation.